Good evening. So I made one video previous to this about I don't know, it was my first video, so it was just a bunch of bullshit, all bunched into one little random, I've had some people tell me that I was everywhere. A lot of questions asked, who's who, were you talking about this person, that type of shit, and it's general. It's general. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things that a lot of people don't know about, and they'll probably have some questions. It's not going to be a specified video. Some of them will be, like this one, specifically, is on my life and having ADD. It's a thing. Since a kid. So anyhow, that's what it's going to be. I said I was going to make a themed video set of many. And today's theme is ADD. If there was a rainbow, I'd love it. Just boom, rainbow. Anyways, okay, so I'll start from when I moved to Mississauga, because I'm not from Mississauga. I'm from like Rexdale, Kipling Road, in between Rexdale Road in Albion, small tiny little school, St. Benedict Elementary. Some people of Marcellinus don't know this, but Mr. McAllister, from all the way up to, what is it, grade 10 or grade 11? Something like that, or grade 12 is when he left. I'm not sure. Not anymore. Age. He was from St. Benedict in Rexdale. He went to the schools around there. He was raised there. So one day, when I was sick, I had this famous moment in the holding school where I passed out during what is it? It was some sort of it was like a space themed meeting in the cafeteria. I forget what they called. Whatever. Who gives a fuck right now? Years later. I passed out. Heart decided to fuck up. It started to get all pale and hot flashes and whatnot. All of a sudden, I just passed out. People said I had a seizure. Not people. One person and a bunch of sheeple. Part of the herd. They thought that I had a seizure because he was trained in first aid and shit. In first aid, they don't teach you whether or not this is... Regardless. So I ended up passing out for like 10 seconds. I lost like all motor control and I slipped down my chair. And, and we ended up talking in the office, and he's from there. Anyways, really good place. He said everybody should go to that school. Really tight-knit community. Welcome Ricardo. First day of school. Had one friend who happened to be my cousin's boyfriend for like years and years. Very different people now. Completely different. Completely off topic. Back on topic. So early on in junior kindergarten, my teacher, which isn't hard to be a kindergarten teacher now these days that I learned, suggested that my mom goes and, try to get me a psych test. Turns out she self-diagnosed a kid with ADD. So I ended up getting ADD. That's how I was branded with it. But it wasn't a bad thing. She actually diagnosed properly. Which at the time, during that time that not a lot of people know still, in the 1990s, they diagnosed kids with ADD. ADD and ADHD were diagnosed by the millions. Corporations loved it. So much medication being paid out. So many people paying it. So many billions made off of this shit. It's an industry. Billion-dollar industry. Multi-billion-dollar industry. Anyhow, so I had it. I do not remember much of junior kindergarten. I don't remember much. Like, what am I gonna say? I was I don't know, Fuck, I just remembered in senior kindergarten, that's when memories started to form, I guess. I remember the teacher paying a lot of attention to me. And, I remember being a little more crazier than most of the kids, but I just thought I was young. Everyone's like, they're batshit crazy as a kid. Some people remember them being really calm, but I was just one of those really crazy kids. I learned how to run before, I didn't do a lot of walking. I was running. Some kids learn, they learn how to step and shit like that. Supposedly early on, I know how to use the front of my feet instead of walking flat. I was running. I was a runner. I was one of those zombie kids you don't want as a zombie, because natural running, which I love the idea of. Anyhow, I'll be the worst zombie ever. Not now, because I'm fat. Grade 1 is when they started to do, I was sitting by the teacher's desk. I thought it was just a regular thing at that point. Sitting by the teacher's desk, I thought they loved my hair, which they did. A lot of girls loved my hair. It's mad curly at that point in time. Small little Ricardo. I'm going to probably put a link to a picture on Facebook with crazy curly hair, and they thought I was cute. I just thought they were crazy. Anyway, yeah. I remember my handwriting was bad, never improved. Teachers tying yarn to pencils, because I'd easily lose a pencil in my multi-track mind at this point in time that's now developing. Grade 2 was not so memorable. I remember the teacher. She was nice and kind, Italian. Lots of Italians in that area of Rexdale at that point in time, before everything happened. And I mean everything, I mean everyone migrated toward there. Anyways, still a little bit crazy. Developmental stages are, at that point in time, were slower than others, because I couldn't take a lot of orders by teachers, and I guess they caught on. French wasn't really reinforced on me as other students and stuff like that. And then grade 3. Grade 3 was a big thing, because that's when a lot of things changed for me, because like if you've ever met me and stuff like that, and you, like, personally and stuff, and you've had the honor of seeing me write my name or a sentence or use a pen, holy shit, it's a whole ordeal. Because at this point in time in life, they took me from junior kinder. I mean, not from junior kinder. They took me from grade 3 class where everyone else was. This is the first unprecedented friggin' thing that happened, but it was huge, and it continued throughout my whole life, which I hate now, the school system for that. They took me out of regular schooling with the rest of the kids and secluded me in a basement special ed program, which did not include the regular criteria of which kids were learning at. Like, I remember doing an English test, and basically they took me halfway out of the test, and they're like, oh, Ricardo, you could write it here, go down to this class. And as a kid, it's not like you'll just be like, no, fuck you, I'm gonna stay here, and I'm gonna write this with my people the same grade, so I could feel, the same. But at that point in time, my mind wasn't like that. It was just, okay, I'll do it. So I'm there, and I go downstairs, and they have letters, like things junior kindergartens would have, like letters, like, it's all over the corners of the room, at the top of the ceiling, and they'd be cursive handwriting, and then printing, and then they have like phonics words, nouns, vowels, and all that stuff, like on the corners, like you're slow. It's not that you're slow with ADD, and it's not that you're not really taking anything in. It's just that students non-diagnosed with it, and I'm not saying distracted. I'm saying that they're not distracted. They could pay attention to one task, and it's not to say that they're totally, there's something going on beside them where they can't pay attention. I'm saying, and this is from my experience, I'm not trying to speak for others, but I'm broad spectrum here. Having ADD, it's not like that. It's I'm trying to pay attention to one thing. It's not interesting, but I'm trying to pay attention to it. It's an English class. I'm trying to do English. I'm trying to remember words, do English tests at this point in time in life. And I get a thought. And that thought is a lot more interesting than what I'm doing, and I'm gonna daydream about that thought all day. It's gonna be something. At that point in time, what? It was recess. I'm probably thinking about playing something outside. And that's when people mistake it for being distracted and other stuff like that, or you can't pay attention. It's not that you're not paying attention to just one thing, or you're being distracted by everything. There's nothing interesting going on in front of your face, so you're being distracted by things that have more attention, that you want to pay more attention to because it's more fun. And that's what the case is. You just don't find it attractive to you, and that's simply it. So throughout life, that happened, from junior kindergarten to grade 12 or college. Same thing. Separate classes. I could have done stuff until I took welding, and then welding, they didn't care. Like 3 or 4 guys or 5 guys had A.D.D, and they were good at welding. They're wicked at welding because they could pay attention to it. It's interesting. Trades are interesting when you're good at it, and it helped. So what is it? Grade 5. Ritalin, drugs, pharmaceutical drugs. Ritalin is an intense drug, I would say. The stimulant. It raises your blood pressure throughout your whole body for a duration of time. And basically forces blood to your brain so that you can concentrate faster. That being said, you sweat, cotton mouth. You do not have an appetite. You lose weight. You get addicted to it sooner or later if you take too much. Don't take 3. It's intense. As a kid, especially, it's intense. I remember taking this stuff in grade 5, and the teacher, she wasn't sure what was going on with the doctors and my parent and my mom, because she was in charge of that, because my dad. Under the hood of a car. Anyways, she wasn't sure. My mom wasn't probably sure at the same time. My pediatrician corroborated with all of this. Everybody was doing something they weren't sure of, giving this kid, me, a pharmaceutical drug that is recommended for kids with A.D.D to pay attention, thinking that it would help. They want to give a stimulant to a kid who has a developing body. They put his body basically in overdrive for years. And they don't think of the developmental issues to the body when you're putting it in overdrive, basically, essentially. So, whatever. So, that happened. I remember the teacher, and I used to be a crazy psychoactive kid. Like, I was running around. I wouldn't pay attention. The teacher would laugh. She loved me. She loved me off. She was really kind. I remember her, Miss Rizzo. I remember one day she was crying. She looked at me, and I was, like, docile. I was just sitting there. And I remember just turning my head, and I was just looking at this teacher. Hi. As a kid. And it was just a straight look in her face. Like, I don't know. I don't remember thinking any thoughts at that point in time. I just looked at her as if like an empty vessel kind of thing. And I remember her just crying. She had a moment. She went outside. She gave me a hug. And, I don't know, it was the last time that happened, but I could tell she was pretty disturbed by it. It's when you look at someone and you know how they usually act, and all of a sudden they're not them. They're on overdrive. They're on overdrive, but autopilot. You're not there. All the voices in your head that is you is just gone. Like, here, take this seat. I'll take over for a bit and get your shit done. And then, when I'm done my shit, you come back and be crazy. That's pretty much it. You're evicted from your personality seat in your own brain. And you're on auto drive. You're just going with the flow of school. You don't have fun outside. You don't feel like having fun outside. Doing a task. Okay, say if you're playing soccer, and, like, for example, actually, I was playing soccer, and I remember being on this stuff, and you need to get the ball in the net. You get the ball in the net. And that's it. You're gonna do exactly what that is, the task at hand. As a kid, that's fucked up. Because you're supposed to have fun. You're supposed to develop these skills by yourself, but then you're taking a drug that's going to force you, essentially, to get the task that you think you need to get done. People in colleges and universities, they freak out about this shit. They buy this shit off these people. And, you know, people with A.D.D, they're obviously ahead of the curve, because they're thinking, hey, I could sell this shit to these people that want it, because they want to feel this. But we don't want to feel this half the time. We know that it's a fucking drug. It's a narcotic now. So back on topic. Enter Mississauga when I moved. Totally fucking different. People were different. There was no sense of community. You had to earn people's respect in school with your things. How you dressed, how you talked, what kind of music you listened to. Now, it was different in elementary in St. Benedict and Rexdale. Totally different. Like, when I say different, like, we knew each other personally. Almost everybody. And as far as I remember, there was always a sense of well-being for everyone else. Like, you cared about them. Even if you didn't know them too well, and that was far-fetched. Everybody knew each other. We grew up with each other. We cared. But when I got to Mississauga, the whole feel was... I really had to dig down for my own personality and deal with having to not have friends in Mississauga when I first started. People were mean. Oh my god. Like, I can name them all at the top of my head. But it's the past now, but, like, it was rough. I remember it being one of my roughest times in life, and, like, yeah. But it was different. There was no special ed class here. It wasn't even made until, like, I'm guessing, it was St. Barbara was new at that point in time. I guess they didn't even make it. They call it Cirque or something. I forget. Fuck St. Barbara. It was a really good school, really nice teachers and, you know, staff. Fuck their fucking criteria. Anyhow, as soon as I get there, I'm exempt from French. What is French for Ricardo? Nothing. I got exempt. They were like, fuck this kid. Fuck him. I get sent to this Cirque class. Not bad. Teacher was nice. I liked her. Educated. Black. Miss Calendar was sick. It was rough. But there was no more drugs. That was important. I think at that point in time, I was a little more ahead of the curve than I thought I was, and I recommended myself to my parents. I'm not on the drugs no more. It's fucked up. And they realize that too. When I'm on it, very different. I run up the stairs. I'm running up the stairs no matter what. I realize, even if I'm sick or so, I'm running up the stairs, 2-3 stairs at a time. When I'm on this stuff, I'm walking. And I'm making sure every single step I take is a safe, solid step. Really nice and calm. Going up the stairs. It's one of the most small, minute details, but I don't do that. And I know that. And it's unnatural, and it's weird. How small and big of a detail that could be. But it's the small things that you realize something's up with you. And that's what it was. High school. I definitely know I'm the most weirdest fucking kid in school now. Well, for my grade. Fucking weird. Out there. It's the strangest. I've definitely made myself known at this point in time. I don't know. I had no strong suits. None. I failed art. with the 2%. No, I failed it with 34%. Everybody got that fucked up. Midterm I got 2 because I didn't type in everything. I didn't send her anything I needed to get done. It was just all in my locker. I just didn't hand it in. Couldn't pay attention. Didn't want it. Written and drawn art, visual art, absolutely most worst thing you could ever give me, because I don't work that way. And that's all the school system is. They think they know what's good, and then they throw you in. You're like, okay, he's good there. Let's do that. And no, I was good at theory in auditory art music class. I was good at it. Fuck, it was weird. I picked that shit up fucking quick, and I wanted to be in it. The school I came from in St. Benedict, it's in Rexdale. The school was essentially a French immersion school. All French immersion. Well, not French. It was half and half. There was a French faculty that taught French in every single class, minus junior kindergarten and senior kindergarten. But they had a music program with violins, basses, cellos, violas, everything woodwind, not brass. So when they sent me to visual art, my brain was not wired for that shit. And of course I was distracted. I didn't want to pay attention to art. I never liked art. Art history maybe, but no. So there's that. And the school was, I don't know, math was a joke. The teacher, she was a champ. Dealing with me, there's definitely a champ. But then there was also a kind of stereotypical side to the people that I went to school with at that point in time. It's not to say, I want to put them down now at this point in time. We're all grown-up people. Like, I understand from an outside view what the fuck was going on now and then, I guess, at point. But at that point in time, I was more offended than anything, because we're all growing up. You don't want to be treated differently, and that's how things were. I'm not here to judge. I don't give a fuck now. It was just different. You could tell people are treating you differently when they hear that you have something that no one else does, or just a small, tiny group of people have, and there's a bad stereotype about it. So they're treating you differently. There's, oh yeah, what the fuck's he gonna know, blah, blah, blah. And I remember this specifically, black girl in school, specifically in grade 8, making this one joke. Because I have A.D.D, I'm automatically branded as stupid and slow, behind, distracted, not generally smart. So when I say something profoundly smart for what they think that smart is for me, it's shocking. Meanwhile, I'm there just thinking whatever I'm thinking. Overall, growing up with this stuff, you have to learn how to gauge people. Gauge friends. As a kid, you shouldn't learn how to read people's physical body language, their tone of voice, facial expression, their overall language, overall body, auditory language, everything. You have to read it all as a kid just to know whether or not someone could be your friend. And I'm not talking like, high school. I'm talking like early on, grade 3 to like grade 7. You have to know who to approach that is going to accept you, knowing that they know you have ADD, and whether or not they're going to accept you as being their friend, or how they're going to treat you, if they're just going to shun you and outcast you because you have it and treat you badly. Which is why the change from Mississauga from Rexdale was so big, because everyone in Rexdale knew, and they didn't judge me for it. Nobody judged anybody for it at that point in time like that. It's only until we got into high school everything changed. But then I got here and fucking things were weird. People just, hey, fuck that guy. That guy's weird. all of a sudden gang symbols are a fucking thing. Crips and Bloods, what the fuck? And I'm in Rexdale. I never knew about this shit. Then I got to Mississauga. The white bubble of fucking Ontario, as far as I'm concerned. GTA, Mississauga, white bubble. Big houses, BMWs, all that shit. Mississauga, I'm like, okay, fuck, this is a nice neighbor. Nope. Judgmental as fuck. Anyhow, you have to learn shit as a kid with ADD, and it's rough. People treat you bad. School system fucking takes a shit on you. Pumping you full of drugs. Eventually, you're gonna like it. Eventually, people that don't understand it are gonna like those drugs too. Until they take it and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're like, I need to pass this exam. And you're like, well, fuck, you're gonna get fucked up now. It's worse than coke, as far as I'm concerned. Never taken it. I don't think I will. You learn things. You learn things. You know, your brain works differently. And there are people now these days are gonna say it's just a made up thing by some guy and he died, I don't know, last year or some shit. They don't know. Sure, he made, you know, a diagnosis about some sort of brain abnormality that usually happens in kids, and it's a little more hyperactive in one area and it's not, you know, so active in others. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna call this attention deficit disorder. You know what? He was probably right. But then he sold out to the pharmaceutical companies saying, hey, we need to make a drug for this. I did. Give me money. But you know what? If you don't have it, you won't know. People with ADD, I've met them before, and there's an instant connection. When I say instant, like, you could tell, it's like, hey, was your childhood rough too? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well, we're in business. Because mine was fucked. And they're like, well, mine was fucked too. I'm like, I know exactly how you feel if we're in the same spectrum of feelings. Yeah. Every single person I've met has had a rough time growing up in high school. Even if they had friends that were okay with them, I've realized that their friends don't even understand how to explain it. Like, you look at your friends and you're still holding back a lot of your personal self from your friends because of your attention deficit disorder. And it's not to say that having that is bad. To be honest, I think it's more of a good thing. I find myself privileged with it because now I think differently. I'm different compared to most. Like, people are weird, but I'm different. I have this brain abnormality that lets me think a little bit outside of the box compared to the regular old Joe. Like, I think differently. I see things differently. I may react in different ways than most people just because of this thing. And people see it growing up as being the weirdest thing because you're not normal. The school system doesn't... You're not normal. You're weird. Teachers tell you what to do and they see you not doing it and you're like, well, teachers told me to do this one thing, I'm going to do it, and that kid's fucking weird because he's not, and he's going to get in trouble. It's bad. Teachers have to go to school for that shit, to tell you that shit's bad because you're making their day a little bit more tough. Sorry to all the teachers out there, but this is the truth. This is how your kids are going to be. Just take some extra time with them. They need it. And try to encourage keeping them in class. Give them a little extra work. Because when you take these kids out of class, and let me tell you, it's like just the feeling of being taken out of class makes you feel dumber. And I mean that word literally. They're secluding you in a class almost essentially by yourself, unless there are other kids, to do a test that you could easily do in the other class. You just need like 10 minutes or 5, maybe even 15, but you seclude these kids and you make them feel like they actually have something that they need to feel dumb about. It's like shaming a kid. No, don't do that. Don't get a proper understanding of this thing, man. We're in 2015, and I'm talking to people that, you know, they're like 1 or 2 years younger, and they're still telling me they're living that life, and it's not right. It's definitely not right. Man, people gotta stop. Like, I personally, I think, and I'm not completely sure about saying this, but I'm gonna say it, but I would like my kid, if I have a kid, or 2 kids or 3, at least just one of them, to have ADD, because at least this mindset, I don't want it to go away, because now, like, I'm proud of it. I'm definitely proud of. I 100% accepted that it's a part of me, but it's a special part of me that, you know, I'll always cherish, because it separates me from others, and I like that. It's different. From day one, I knew it was different to see things in certain lights, but now I know that it's different is good. These day and age, being different is good. You're separate. You're an individual, and that's what it makes you feel like, eventually. And now everybody's like that. Everyone is an individual, but I just feel like it just adds that, you know, maybe 5% of individualism to me, personally. Overall, having ADD changed. Well, not changed. It was naturally changed. It came changed. It's like if everyone got a red piece of construction paper, my construction paper had more black and red and orange and purple fibers in the construction paper than the other red construction papers the kids had. That's what it feels like. My construction paper was different, just naturally. That was the one that had more shit in it out of the printing press than the other people. So, to all the people that don't have ADD, that say, oh my god, you know, my ADD kicked in? No, it didn't. You guys are retarded. Not the literal term. I'm talking about, like, the figurative fucking 1990s. No. Okay, I apologize for that anyways. It's not the right thing to say anyways. You guys are totally wrong in what you're saying. Subsequently, totally wrong! Don't have ADD. You don't know how it feels. It's like racism. And I'm gonna say it. I said it. It's like racism. It's this. You want to be like something because you think it's funny. But the thing that follows, okay, right here, this is funny ADD. And back there, that little thing, where is it? I'm trying to get in the camera. That thing back there, from this distance in my finger, all the way back there, that's the struggle of coming all the way to this point. It was hard. It was hard. Growing up as a kid, the ridicule throughout high school, elementary, the struggle of having this shit and having to deal with people, like, totally dumbing you down, calling you names, just the outlook on how they think that you think, and then to make a joke that, oh my god, I have it? Fuck you. Honestly. We're crazy for a reason. And most of the people I know that have grown up with this shit enjoy that craziness because they're fucking crazy. But we enjoy what happens because we've had it. There's a lot of things we have to learn because of this shit. And because we like it, just don't make fun of us for it. What the fuck? I'm not saying we're all separate because I have this personally. I'm trying to include everybody with ADD, but my personal experience, fucking nuts. But there's a method to the madness, and people don't need to, you know, say they have something when they obviously don't even have a fuck of an idea about it. So, overall, I didn't even take a drink of my wine. That's fucking nuts. Sorry, hold on. This is the case. Cardinals in. Really cheap stuff in LCBOs. $12. Well, not cheap. That's regular price, I guess. Dry as fuck. Really dry. But when I say, like, dry, I'm saying, like, if you have a cheap taste, this is it. This is classy cheap. If you're wearing a suit and tie and you want a glass of wine, but you're broke, this is your shit. And you know what? Now I have a taste for this shit. Even if I buy a $40 bottle, I'll come and buy this. After that, like together, I'll buy the $40 bottle, and then I'll come and buy this shit and drink this shit first. Besides the $40 bottle, like, I like this shit. I don't know why. It's fucking tastes good. It's a Zinfandel, Cardinal Zin. I recommend it. It's one of my go-to drinks. I had like 6 bottles, like sitting by my dresser, just waiting to be washed out so I could put it in the recycling. Just because I liked it at one point in time. Like 2 in a week. Anyways, if you've gotten to this far, you are, God, you definitely wanted to hear the rest of that shit, for sure. You're counting on 36 minutes? You're a fucking champ. I hope you guys have a nice day. Whoever is listening to this shit, I hope you have a nice day. As I was saying about being distracted and shit like that, wine. That's my coverage on ADD for me in my life. It's different for everybody. Everyone will tell you their experience and how weird it was, and they won't necessarily open up about how bad the experience was, because we try to hold it in. I know that with everybody that has it, or ADHD for that matter. It's the same thing. We're not going to tell you the struggle we had to go through having it, because we don't want to be judged for it. It's bad, but we get judged just for even complaining that, you know, life was rough because I had ADD. But you won't even know. You just don't know. Yeah. It's hard. But, you know what? It was good. I turned out good. I turned out weird. But you know what? My weirdness works to my advantage. So fuck yeah! I want to say that I'm out. I also say that I don't want to go out now, but I have to go out now because I'm in a situation that I'm being forced. No, I'm not being forced, but I want to go out. But I also want to stay in and play video games and listen to old style music from the 1930s because that time was fucking bomb. Peace, man. I'm getting distracted. Goodbye, guys.